Okay guys, welcome back to the channel here. Today I'm going to go over kind of my level 1 preparedness system. So this is kind of my EDC, so to speak, but I don't really carry it with me every single day. It's more of things that I just keep in my car if I'm out of town or out in the woods or whatever. I live in a small enough community that if something happens while I'm in town, I've got enough stuff in my EDC to get me home to the things that I might need later. So this is kind of my like day tripper, less than an hour away from the house type of setup here. So let's just go through it. So as you can see, it's a two-part system. Both of these pieces are made by Hill People Gear. The first one is one of their original kit bags, and you can see here it's got an H-harness type setup on it that's made for like wearing on your chest. So this is more of a chest pack. I guess it's not really an H-harness, but some kind of box harness there. This is stuff that fits nicely under a backpack, and that's what Hill People Gear designed it for. And then I've got my Terra Humera pack here, which is kind of their small day trip pack. So we'll start with the first piece here, and that's the chest pack. So there's basically 3 compartments to this, okay? So the first one is obviously just this front pocket here. This is stuff that I keep just in here that I might need quickly, okay? I've got a couple food bars, just some of the Millennium Energy bars. They last forever and they taste pretty good and they give you a lot of calories. So if I'm having a hike around all day, I've got some meals, or if I'm, like I said, less than an hour away from my house, I can get home with the stuff that I have in these 2 bags, and food's one of those things. In addition, I've also got some wet ones, some wipes, because you never know, when you're going to need to sanitize your hands or whatever. It's just nice to stay clean, so I keep that type of stuff in there. I've also got a bandana. You can use this for filtering water, plugging, wrapping a bandage around a wound, or a bunch of different things. This one's kind of cool because it's got a bunch of knots in it, like a little knot guide on how to tie these things. I know a few knots, but it's nice to know, a couple more than you're used to. So I apologize for the camera shaking around there. My dog's over there trying to chew on a stick. But a bandana. So in here, I've got a Cold Steel Pocket Bushman folding knife. I keep it super sharp, and I don't rarely ever use it unless I need to baton wood or something like that. For everything else, I use my EDC knife. But I have this knife in here specifically because it's probably the strongest locking knife that I've ever found. So this is again the Pocket Bushman, and what this does for me is, due to the locking mechanism, it's down here at the bottom, and you actually have to pull this lanyard down to unlock it, and then the blade will come forward. So it locks the whole back tang of the blade in there. So Cold Steel markets it as just as strong as a fixed blade knife, and while a folding knife is never going to be just as strong as a quality fixed blade, this is a good compromise. And I've batoned wood with this. I've done a lot of Bushman type stuff with it, hence the name. And it's a really good knife that I keep in here just to have one. I also have some bug spray and some sunscreen. In the summers around here, mosquitoes are a huge bother, and it's just nice to have something lightweight that I can take care of that with. And then sunscreen's kind of self-explanatory. I also have a little flashlight. This is the Streamlight ProTech 1L AA. So it takes AA batteries, and it's a pretty bright little light, and it's super compact, so it fits nicely in the pockets here. I also have a little knife sharpener for some tool maintenance. And I carry a spare magazine for my Glock 20, which is a 10 millimeter. And I'll show you that. That actually fits in the back portion of this rig here as well. So I'll show you that here in just a second. I've also got a couple survival blankets in here just to construct a hasty shelter if I need to. And then a couple items in my fire kit here, just some Bic lighters. And I also have an Exotac fire steel. And these are super cool because they're all kind of a self-contained unit here. So I've got the fire steel itself, and then at the bottom here is the striker. So if you can imagine just, striking, you can see all the sparks there. So it's nice. It's super compact. It fits nicely in just about anywhere. Your pocket, this pack, your fire kit, it'll fit in there. And I like that it's kind of a self-contained unit. You can put it on a keychain if you wanted to, but it's super small, so I keep it in there because why not? And that's it for the first pocket here. I'll kind of show you how this thing lays out. So the first pocket breaks into this pouch here, and then there's two divider pouches in there as well. So I usually keep like my shelter and bandana in here, and then those other miscellaneous items minus the fire stuff in there. And then the rest of it's just kind of strewn around in there. Super easy to get to when you're wearing it on your chest, and it stays pretty organized. There's a couple clips here. You can clip a carabiner or some other type of gear on there if you want to do that. I keep my stuff just kind of loose in little pouches, and it works fine for me. So that takes care of the first pouch. Let's open up the bigger pouch here, and I'll show you what I keep in here. So I've got a pair of Steiner binoculars. I'm not sure of the exact model number, but they're Predator Pros. Super compact, good set of optics. Kind of self-explanatory there as to why you would need binoculars, right? To see things from far away. So keep in mind that I use this pack as my day hiking pack. So if I might see an elk or something out on the trail, I can use those to get a good view of it without having to get close. There's a lot of moose and bear up where I'm at as well. I've got just a little watertight first aid kit here. It's basically just a boo-boo kit, some bandages and things like that. I'm not going to dump it all out, but just kind of a basic first aid kit that I keep just tied in there with a carabiner. And then a headlamp. So I've got just my Black Diamond headlamp here. I keep headlamps in pretty much all of my bags, and this is super handy when you're walking at night or whatever. Again, self-explanatory. It's my second purpose light. I've got that little stream light that I showed you before, and then this headlamp for hands-free. But then a little whistle, just to let people know where I'm at, or to make noise if there's bears around, things like that. So keep all that stuff in the main compartment. And in the very back compartment, which rides closest to your chest, they built this little concealed carry pocket in here, okay? So in there, I've got my Glock 20, which is my 10 millimeter. And it's pretty much what I keep with me all the time in this bag. So I like the 10 millimeter. It's a great caliber, and the ability to put a full-size handgun in this pouch is one of the main reasons that sold me on it. And I've got it Velcroed in there with one of the Maxpedition holsters that I think they're like $15 from Maxpedition. And it Velcros into a panel here that Hill People Gear put in here for that reason. So it sits back there. It's nice and concealed when I'm hiking, which is nice. And then the way I kind of zip this up is I put both of these zips right at the corner here. So what I can do is, if you can imagine, if I'm wearing it, I can take my thumb and rip it open and get to the handgun there. Okay, so that was the Hill People Gear original kit bag. So that's everything that I keep in there. And I just throw these things in my truck if I'm leaving town, or obviously on my body if I'm out hiking. So, okay, so that brings us to the Tarahumara, which is kind of, like I said, my EDC bag for going out of town or on day hikes. It's just my day trip bag. So starting off on the outside here, it's got two, wand pockets for water bottles and stuff like that. If it's just me, I'll usually just take one Nalgene with me, and then I got some ways to purify water in here to fill them up, because I'm never too far away from a stream. And then if I'm, hiking with somebody else, or wife, fiance, carry hers with her, because she doesn't like to carry a backpack, so I got to do all the heavy lifting. But it fits right in there. I don't keep two in there all the time, because of the way these pockets are designed. It will fit a full-size Nalgene, as you can see. However, if I put two in there, it compresses the interior of the pack, and I won't be able to fit all the other things in there that I want. So, getting in here, I've just got some basic kind of survival type stuff, okay, things that would get me through hard times if I needed them to. So first up, right up front, is an Israeli bandage. Okay, I can have that up front just in case I need to get to it. I can get to it quick. I can open that up, rip this out, and I'm good to go. I've got some just some Wells Lamont pretty basic gloves you can get from your hardware store or what have you, and use them to haul wood around or do whatever you need to use gloves for, right? A little Arc'teryx beanie, and a nice wool surplus scarf. I've used this a lot, and this makes a huge difference in keeping you warm versus cold. If it's snowing or whatever, you wrap this around your neck and your head, and it's amazing. This is actually better than the beanie, but if you put them both together, and it's even better. So the interior, I actually have organized with these gear pods. They're little cylinders, watertight cylinders that you can get in different sizes and can keep different items in them. So This orange one here is kind of my fire kit. So they're color coded, so orange is fire. And then I'll go through the other ones as we go here. So in my fire kit, I have a Ziploc bag of cotton balls and Vaseline as kind of my tinder, and that's elsewhere in the kit here. And then in here, I just keep a little Fresnel lens. This was actually given to me by one of my friends, another YouTuber. His channel's One Bad Boy 2. I'll link him down in the description, but he's got a lot of good information, and he actually gave this to me, so I keep it in my fire kit. One Bad Boy 2's got a video on how to use it. He takes some dryer lint out and puts this under the sun right on top of the dryer lint. It's amazing. It smokes almost instantly. So it's a good lightweight fire starter in a pinch. And then I've got some waterproof boat matches in both this container and then another waterproof container in here with a striker on it. So a couple different ways to make fire in this specific kit. And then again, I've got my lighters and my Exotac in my kit bag. Okay, so in here, this little green one, I keep just my hygiene items. So I've got a roll of toilet paper in there, as well as a bunch more of those wet wipes. So just keep hygiene, and you know, if you're out hiking or whatever, nature calls, you've got toilet paper with you. That's a super easy thing to carry, and it keeps it watertight in this nice little gear pod. So Blue is my water purification kit. Okay, so you take the lid off of here, and I've got a Sawyer Mini along with its filter bag and some potable aqua tablets. So those will get me somewhere in the range of 20,000 to 30,000 gallons with the filter bag, and the potable aqua tablets combined. So more than I'll ever need, and then it's got the straw in there as well, so I can hook it up to the filter itself and drink from a bottle or what have you there. So it's my little water kit. And then in this yellow and red one, I've got my first aid supplies. This is not a trauma kit. This is just kind of an extended boo-boo kit, if you will. So this little tiny piece on top is that small, and it's full of medications like ibuprofen tablets, Benadryl, things like that I keep up here. So just pills that I might need. And then in the big container here, I've got an enhanced boo-boo kit, basically. It's just a whole bunch of bandages, some gauze, some medical tape, things like that to dress up small wounds. It's certainly not fit for a trauma kit, but any little cuts, nicks, or scrapes I can get on a trail, I can clean up with this. And it's kind of nice because these gear pods ship with little label stickers, so you can label what you have in them, but I color code mine so I know what's in them anyway. But nice little touch there. So sticking with the medical theme of things, I have one of the Adventure Medical Kit's field trauma kits inside, and in here is like a quick clot bandage. I put a cat tourniquet in there. I've got some nitrile gloves, and it's kind of it's a really small but yet comprehensive field trauma kit for puncture wounds or major trauma, things like that. So anything my boo-boo kit won't take care of, my trauma kit will. And these are items that I never touch or borrow out of unless I need to use them on the trail or whatever. If I'm at the grocery store and cut myself on a tin can or something, I'll dig into my stuff I keep in my car. I won't ever touch this stuff unless I need it. That way I know it's always there. On here, I've got probably 80 feet of paracord wrapped around this little spool tool. And spool tool is a neat little thing because obviously it's a nice organized way to keep your paracord so it's not coming undone. It's got a place to keep a Bic lighter right in the side, so you can torch the ends of this cord to make it so it's not fraying like this is here. And then all these little indents on the sides here are so you can pull the cord through like I've done here, and then chop it, burn it, and then you pull it back through, and that closes up that burnt end and it melts together, so it keeps it nice and compact. So that's a great way to carry paracord. And obviously paracord's got a million uses, so keep that with me. Then at the bottom here, I've just got a couple extra of those Millennium bars. That just kind of lengthens out my my food options, and I could easily go on one of these a day in an emergency situation. So I've got 5 days of food with me, but I don't usually need to, but I've got it, obviously, if I do. And then in here is just a little SOL survival kit. So it's got a whistle, a mirror, a couple tinder bundles, some duct tape, a fishing kit, and a sewing kit, as well as a flint and tinder striker there, or just like a fire rod and a flint wheel, and then a button compass. And in the back, all wrapped around, is another emergency blanket. So super compact survival kit. Again, just it's kind of a tertiary for the things that I already have, but you know, in an emergency situation or on the trail if it starts raining or I get snowed out or whatever, this is all the stuff I need to make a good shelter and a fire and stay warm until I can make it out myself or signal for help or whatever. So, and that's it. That goes in this little pack here. So it's quite a lot of stuff in a small compact package. Overall, it's super lightweight. So I'm just going to go over with you this pack itself. So it's a Terra Humara by Hill People Gear, and I found Hill People Gear probably 2 years ago, and ever since then I've been an absolute brand snob about their stuff. It's the best backpacking stuff I've ever had, coupled with some of the best gear that I've ever had. They make a couple jackets that I own, and they're super good backcountry guys that make the stuff so that it is how they would want it to use, because they use the stuff too. So if you look at the shoulder harness here, it's not your typical backpack harness. So what we have here is basically one yoke. If you can imagine, this part sits behind your neck, and then these parts go around your shoulders. And it's not super thick padding, but it is super wide. And what that does is it distributes the weight of your pack evenly across your shoulders, the back of your neck, and the other side of your shoulders there. And it makes for a super comfortable carry system. So if you look here, it's not attached. The yoke is not attached to how a traditional pack is. So it's got these little straps on it that actually attach it, so it articulates. And what I mean by that is, if you can imagine wearing the pack here, as my shoulders move, the pack kind of stays in one place. And that's super nice if you're climbing up or downhill. The pack kind of stays center to your body, and the shoulder straps articulate with you, and it makes it infinitely more comfortable when you're carrying any type of load, even this the small load that I've got here. And it's just a great piece of gear. And I call all of this stuff, I'll kind of show you the pile of stuff I've got here. So that's kind of everything halfway spread out. So I keep all of that stuff as my level 1 kit. And what I mean by level 1 preparedness is, this is the stuff that I keep with me, like I said, if I'm going out of town further than an hour away, or just out in the woods, hiking, doing whatever. And the reason I picked these particular pieces, both the kit bag and the Terra Humara pack, is because Hill People designs their gear to work well with each other. So the back harness on this kit bag sits flat against your back, and it gives proper ventilation with the webbing here, so your back doesn't get super sweaty just because of this. And it sits flat perfectly underneath the pack. And then this pack connects to my level 2, which is my generally called a bug out bag, but I use it for multiple purposes because I can't afford to have 8 different bags laying around the house. So I combine everything into one system. It saves me money, it saves me organization, and it works well for me. So this bag will actually attach to the front of my bug out bag and act as not only extra storage but a compression panel, so I can cinch the back of this pack up against my main pack and put things in between them. So if you guys want to see anything specific, videos on specific stuff out of this kit, or more on anything, go ahead and just drop a comment below, and I'll do my best to get that to you. I'll put out a video on my level 2 stuff as soon as I can. I've been kind of busy here at home, so I'm not able to put out videos as much as I would like to, but I like doing it. And if it helps anybody out with ideas or things like that for their own kits or anything like that, I'm certainly happy to do it. So that's all I got for you. So stay safe and stay prepared.